Let's talk about that call by Steelers coach Mike Tomlin in their game against the Browns. Accepting that penalty on third down to give the Browns another try, it seemed like a risky move, especially in those snowy conditions.
It definitely raised some eyebrows. Most coaches would take in the field position advantage and force the Browns to attempt a longer field goal, especially in that weather.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Tomlin seemed to be thinking about something else entirely. What do you think was going through his mind?
Well, I think he was trying to play the odds. The Browns' offense had been moving the ball well all game, and their kicker had already missed an extra point. Tomlin might have calculated that it was more likely the Browns would convert the third down and eventually score a touchdown anyway. By accepting the penalty, he was hoping to make the touchdown less and at least push the Browns further back and force them to run more.
So he was trying to limit the damage rather than prevent it altogether. That's a bold strategy.
It is, and it didn't pay off in the...
No, it didn't. The Browns ended up scoring a touchdown just 57 seconds later. Do you think Tomlin regrets his decision now?
It's hard to say. Hindsight is always... But I think he'd probably say he'd make the same call again. He's a coach who's not afraid to take risks, and he trusts his...
That's true. He's always been known for his aggressive style. But this particular gamble backfired. What kind of impact do you think this loss will have on the Steelers moving forward?
It's definitely a setback. It weakens their position in the AFC North and gives their rivals an opening. They also lost a divisional game, which could come back to haunt them later in the season when tiebreakers come into play.
Absolutely. Every game counts in a tight division like the AFC North, but it's still early in the season. Do you think the Steelers can recover from this loss and get back on track?
They certainly have the potential. They have a talented roster and a proven coach, but they need to learn from their mistakes and play with more consistency. They can't afford to make those kinds of risky calls every...
That's for sure. They need to find a better balance between aggression and caution. It'll be interesting to see how they respond in their next game.
Absolutely. They have a tough matchup coming up against another divisional rival.
This loss to the Browns has definitely put them in a tough spot, but it's not the end of the world. There's still a lot of football left to play.
That's right. The season is far from over.
Let's shift gears a bit and talk about the Steelers' offense. They haven't been as explosive as many expected. What do you think are the main factors contributing to their struggles?
Well, one issue is their inability to establish a consistent running game. Najee Harris hasn't been able to find much room to run, and he's also had some fumbling issues.
Right, and the offensive line hasn't been doing him any favors. They've struggled with both run blocking and pass protection.
Exactly. Kenny Pickett has been sacked multiple times in several games. It's tough for any quarterback to be successful when he's constantly under pressure.
Absolutely. They need to give him more time to throw. Another factor is the lack of a true number one receiver.
Deontay Johnson and George Pickens are both talented receivers, but neither has really emerged as a dominant go-to option.
They need someone who can consistently make big plays, especially in crucial situations.
I agree. They need a receiver who can be a reliable target for Pickett when they need to move the chains or score points.
Let's talk about the defense now.
They've been solid overall, but not spectacular. They've been good at getting to the quarterback, but they've struggled against the run at times.
Yes, they gave up over 150 rushing yards to the Browns in the game.
That's not a good sign. They need to improve their run defense if they want to compete with the top teams in the league.
Their secondary has also been inconsistent. They have some talented players back there, but they haven't been able to play consistently at a high level.
Communication breakdowns and missed assignments have been a problem. Those are issues that need to be addressed if they want to be a top tier.
Overall, it seems like the Steelers are a team with a lot of potential, but they haven't been able to put it all together consistently.
They need to find more consistency on both sides of the ball if they want to make a deep playoff run. The AFC is very competitive this year. They can't afford to fall behind.
Exactly. Every game matters from here on out.
What do you think the Steelers need to do specifically to improve in the coming week? Well, first and foremost, they need to find a way to get their running game going. That will help take some pressure off of Pickett and open up the passing game.
Makes sense. They also need to improve their offensive line play. That's essential for both the running game and the passing game.
Right.
They need to give Pickett more time to throw and create some holes for Harris to run through.
On defense, they need to be more consistent against the run. They have the talent to be a top-ranked defense, but they haven't played up to their potential in that.
And they need to avoid giving up big plays.
Big plays can be momentum killers.
Yeah.
And they can put a lot of pressure on the offense.
Special teams need to be more consistent as well.
They've had some costly mistakes in that area this season.
It all comes down to execution.
That's right. They have the talent, but they need to execute better and avoid making those costly mistakes that have hurt them.
The Steelers have a lot of work to do, but they're not out of it yet.
It's a long season, and anything can happen.
They need to stay focused and keep working hard.
If they can do that, they still have a chance to make some noise in the...
Their schedule doesn't get any easier.
True. They face several playoff contenders in the coming weeks.
It'll be a good test for them. It will show whether they're truly contenders or pretenders.
I'm looking forward to seeing how they respond to the challenge.
Me too. It's going to be an exciting finish to the season.
I agree. The AFC is wide open and anything can.
Thanks for sharing your insights.
It was my pleasure. The thing about the AFC North is it's always a dogfight. Every team brings a different kind of intensity, and you can't afford to let your guard down.
And the Steelers know that better than anyone. They've been in these battles for years. But this season feels different. There's a sense of urgency, a need to prove they can still compete at the highest level.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. There's a lot of young talent on this team, but they need to find a way to mesh with the veterans and create a cohesive unit.
Kenny Pickett's a perfect example.
Yeah.
He has all the physical tools to be a great quarterback,
Yeah.
but he needs to develop that mental toughness that comes with experience.
Playing in this division will certainly accelerate that process. You're facing elite defenses week in and week out. No room for error.
And that's where Tomlin's coaching comes in. He's known for pushing his players to their limits, demanding excellence, but can he adapt his approach to this new generation of players?
That's the question many are asking. The league is evolving. The game is changing. Tomlin needs to find that balance between his old school mentality and the modern demands of the NFL.
It's fascinating to watch this dynamic unfold because at the end of the day, it's about winning. And the Steelers fan base expects nothing less.
The pressure is immense. Every game is a referendum on the team, the coach, the entire organization.
And that brings us back to that controversial call against the Browns. It was a gamble, a calculated risk that didn't pay off, but it also revealed a glimpse into Tomlin's mindset.
He's not afraid to make bold decisions, even if they go against conventional wisdom. He's betting on his players, on their ability to rise to the occasion.
But can they deliver? Can they overcome adversity, silence the doubters, and reclaim their place among the NFL's elite?
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, it's going to be one heck of a ride.
Indeed it will, and we'll be here to break it all down every step of the way.
Always a pleasure. It's interesting to think about the long-term implications of this loss for the Steelers.
What do you mean?
Well, it could be a turning point in their season, you know. Either they rally and use it as motivation to improve, or it could send them spiraling in the wrong direction.
It's a crucial moment for them.
Exactly. They need to show some resilience. They need to prove that they can bounce back from adversity.
The next few weeks will be telling.
Absolutely. Their performance in these upcoming games will determine their fate.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch how it all plays out.
I agree. The AFC North is always unpredictable. Anything can happen.
Well, thanks for your insights.
It was my pleasure.
Goodbye, and see you in the next video.